States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. And all the trustees are here, the mayor, and all department heads except Tammy, who's in court downstairs as a witness and complainant. Okay, I guess we can start off with Dr. Alioto. You got the floor. There's an update on our pop-up program.
I think tonight we decide if we want to go with the next phase, right?
We're a little early on that. We would have decided next week, but unfortunately I have to be away for business, so we're going to miss the next meeting. So I wanted to give you the update, and then by next week I can give an update of the update. That's kind of where we're at. So I appreciate you taking the time tonight just to get where we are since the last time we got together. So when phase one kicked off, I reached out to all the interested retail businesses with an online survey. The SurveyMonkey sent them all their contact information, and asked them about what their needs were, make sure that we can start doing some matches. So we got some ideas about how much rent they could afford, as well as interest in partnering and what kind of space needs they had to see could we even accommodate. So there were 4 business concepts that were ready to go, and I think this is the exciting part because there's a lot of partnership availability for them. There were a couple of retailers that were more artisan gift items like you would expect to see in a small town Main Street. You got one interested in outdoor recreation, but there were at least 5 vendors looking to partner together for an indoor farmers market, for a winter farmers market, and that was pretty exciting. And that's just 5 that were present, and they each had at least one other person or group that they knew about that might be interested, so that could potentially be even larger. There was an organization who wanted to partner with a business, and then there were several others that didn't respond to the survey, so I kind of kept them on hold until we could see if we could accommodate those priority business concepts. Right after we started phase 1, I sent letters out to all the property owners that we had on the list, and Tammy was very helpful with getting me information, also giving me an idea of readiness for a business. So I contacted all of them via hard copy mail, just to say, this is what's going on, give them all the information and give contact information so that we could do a follow-up. After 2 weeks of nothing from anyone about anything, I started to do the phone calls and the email campaign and to reach out with that to them. For properties that did go through a realtor, I also reached out to realtors, so there are a lot of contacts made. This past week, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of phone calls, a lot of I'll meet you tomorrow, but 2 properties that were on our priority list are not prepared to rent at this time. One is full of contents, it's interested in the process, but it's full of stuff and can't get it out before then. So that was a little unfortunate because here's a property owner very interested, but she just physically could not get the leftover contents moved out in time. And then another property is prioritizing to rent to a physician and not interested in any other concepts. 5 properties are on hold waiting for retailer assistance. So, realtor assistance. So I'm actually meeting with Robin Smith tomorrow to go through all of the list of properties and work with her on potential there. There's another property that's interested in partnering, has businesses going in, but is interested in adding in some of these interested pop-ups to this business concept. So that was kind of exciting because these are people who are ready to open business in Dansville. So if we can't fill enough storefronts for this pop-up, my priority is to how do we get them a place to be because they want to be here and they're ready to go. So that was very exciting. And then I'm still waiting to hear back from messages for a few other owners. So where that brings us today, as of today, we don't have that 3 to 5 storefront goal. By this time next week, we might, if we get everybody who is still pending to move forward. So there's definitely interest there. The concern about being able to reach property owners and get this movement was a little bit of a concern for me, thinking about I'm kind of working on behalf of the village and the chamber, but really these interested businesses. So I had a little bit of concern about what kind of open arms these businesses who are interested in Dansville are receiving, and those are some of the things that I'm thinking about as I provide the recommendation about moving forward into phase 2 or not. If we don't move forward to phase 2, I'll provide a variety of recommendations based on what I've learned and based on what has been reported from the property owners, the realtors, and retail businesses that are interested. The short form. Questions?
Any questions? This is up to date.
So when are you coming back to say yes or no to us
I know you
going to
have,
phase 2?
yeah, I know you have the meeting next week that I can't be present at, so I would like to be able to get you something, because we talked about having a decision next week. If you're okay with waiting until, the following week, if there's a way to get together and provide the report as well as, a debrief, we can do that as well. I'm gone Tuesday and Wednesday in a different part of the state, and I just can't make it back in time. So, I'll leave it to you to decide what works
That's
best.
up to, yeah, I mean, I can meet
Well, you can get us something and I can get it to the board and we'll go from there.
And an update was also provided to the chamber on Monday, so they actually, there's less information Monday. There's a lot that happened since Monday morning, so things are moving, and we'll see where they land.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Under mayor's correspondence comments, I'm probably going to be off the majority of tomorrow, depending on what happens tonight. We've had a letter too from the school requesting permission for the homecoming parade on October 4th. Officer Grease has information as well, so that shouldn't be any big major issue there. Marissa, did we get anything back, or have you heard anything on the association dinner yet?
Haven't heard anything back yet.
Okay. And we have sexual harassment training on October 9th.
No later than.
No later than, excuse me. So, that's that. Moving right along, legislative. Action items, any changes? No?
No.
Okay, well, we still got the monitors. I finally got my site up. I had to go a roundabout way to get it, but I've got it.
I placed a call to both I always forget their name.
Hurricane?
Thank you. And also to Bill Hoover. So I know that he's received
All right,
a message.
he
just-
did talk to me about that,
Okay.
yes. So we're good to go there.
Excellent.
And you just want to mention the civil service issues? Briefly, generally?
Yes, I'd be
No-
happy to.
Nothing specific?
We're just, I'm meeting with Jen, who works in the personnel office, to just update our roster of employees and titles this Friday at 2:30, so.
Yeah, they've got people on the list that, well, from the PD side of it anyway, people have been gone for what, 12 years at least? Not you, Norm.
No, they were quick to scratch that one.
I came out pretty fast, probably.
So, and we got a whole bunch of little issues, but it appears that somewhere along the line there was miscommunication, because I know we've been talking to Lorraine about it for months, so it'll be interesting to see what the list has on it. So that's on Friday. Public safety.
Okay, so for the month of August, we had 26 calls, bringing the total up to 173 so far. Mutual aid, we've given out to the surrounding area 23 calls for the total of the year. Received mutual aid, we had 6. Time response from the call to when the truck leaves the truck house. This month was 3 minutes and 21 seconds. That's what it averaged out to. Excuse me. Going to manpower, the same guys still coming around, but we're doing pretty good. For the total year, we've got at least over 1,000 of manpower hours. Guys coming and doing stuff, the calls. We had one big call. I wasn't here at the last Mountain 04 boarded up down at the campsite. We were there from 4:30, I believe, till 1 o'clock in the morning. We had 18 people we had to rescue. Everything went well. Best part of it, nobody got hurt. The first responders or the people that were there, biggest problem was communications. We couldn't get, and I'm up at command and I'm trying to reach Brian Wood, who's down in the creek area, and he couldn't even hear us. Even the phones, and the phones were spotty. But besides that, and just dealing with the people that were having fun down there being drunk, I had a state trooper, and one car came flying right at me. And they said they didn't see me, but I had my red lights on and a vest.
Well, that's not like those red lights stand out.
No. So I was lucky one of the troopers was standing there, so he kind of took her on the side and had a nice little talk with her. But I do appreciate everybody that helped out. We worked well together. There was no problems. It's just, it was a long night, long day. Besides that, in the village, we had a total of 14, bringing the total up to 86. I'm not gonna go through all of them. Just in North Dansville was 20 for the year, we only had 2. So, and I emailed you guys this morning, so you should all have it, any questions. I also emailed earlier in August about a little incident we had down at the bus garage with the gas pumps. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were all aware of what was going on, and we had no damage to the truck. Unfortunately, the manhole cover had no problem. But, and that's about it.
Which truck do you got out of service, Glenn?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. 518 just went out of service last night. Went over to the truck house and I saw hydraulic fluid sitting on the floor. I'm like, So I go out by the outriggers, turn the truck on, whatever, and it looked like one of those chocolate fountains. And it was just running all over the place. And unfortunately, they were gonna use the truck Saturday when they did the stair climb over at the school, but I can't let that out. That's one of the main things to support that truck. Brian Wood's gonna be working on seeing if we can get it out there, out to Syracuse maybe, because they gotta take out that whole outrigger and go through everything. So I did let Wayland know, and the other towns know around here that we don't have a ladder truck, and dispatch knows. We don't have it until further notice. And that's about it. Unless you guys have any questions.
Just a heads up, I had asked Glenn for percent of increase for the,
Contracts.
contracts with the surrounding towns, and he came up with 2%, so
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna need to go out and notify each of the towns. It should be Dansville, North Dansville, and Austin.
And that hasn't changed. It seemed to work out. It's just with the fuel, especially going out now, all the way out into the Austin and up the
I think that
hill.
them would be even maybe a hair more, since how they're a little more fuel every time you go to them, where the town's
I was
kinda
trying
like
to-
going in the village. I mean, the town's right here.
And I was trying to compare it to how many times we went out there too, so I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. So,
Of course, the fuel's coming down, so.
Yeah,
of course, the
We
fuel,
just bought a truck that was super expensive to go out there and
Yeah.
support
that's
their
the,
areas with water supply.
Okay,
okay?
any other questions for Glenn?
No?
Skip?
I'm off to my other meeting. See you later, guys.
See you,
So go.
Have a good one, Glenn.
Thank you.
More paper.
I got what she's got there. All right. Shade the tree. Yeah, there you go. More paper. Alrighty, town location and calls, town of Dansville 2, town of Groveland 4, town of Ocean 3, town of Sparta 7, town of Springwater 1, town of West Sparta 6, 1 to the village of Cancerega, 92 in the village of Dansville, gives us a total of 117 calls for the month. Number of runs generated is 123. Destination of the calls were once to Highland, 65 to Noise, 23 refusals and standbys, 2 to Rochester General, 9 to Strong, and we were canceled 18 times for a total of 118. Total calls covered 120 M1, which gives us a 98% coverage rate. And a lot of these calls on Pink Floyd can let you know that we're getting hit 2 at a time.
Yeah, today, a lot.
Twice today,
Yeah, close to it. Yeah.
right back to back, so
Wow,
we've been able to cover them pretty good.
great.
Yeah, we've been adding numbers pretty regularly, it's probably 2 a month.
We're trying to get our roster up there so that
One of the,
if somebody takes a vacation or something, at least we got somebody else that can step in, so.
one of the newer members just got her EMT license this week too. Sam, I don't know if you knew that or not, but Sam did. She passed. So the Explorer group, they're working on that too. Jamie June took that on, and the school invited us for the open house. And then Kim Meese is helping us with their enrichment hour after school or whatever. So hopefully we'll get some, some younger folks to see.
Build on the Explorer program a little bit,
Mhm.
get some future EMTs maybe.
One thing that I kind of, just for the village to know, the county emailed me the other day, Patrick, which I can't think of his last name, Senator Patrick.
Galvin, yeah.
He's taken interest in EMS and firefighters, and they wanted questions from every agency, what our top 3 priorities were, so that he could take and develop some plans to go to Albany, which I know one of them is a tax exemption for the state if you're a volunteer with certain criteria. But we also, my suggestions, I guess, were to get these community colleges to offer more EMT classes, and then maybe a 2-year program for a paramedic and that type of thing, but then they gotta get the pay rates up. I mean, these people don't make any money compared to what their requirements are. And I mean, in the city, I think AMR pays $11 an hour for an EMT and $17 an hour for a paramedic, it's very rough.
Yeah.
Not where you're going to pick people up, and
Yeah.
now when McDonald's is paying $12.75.
Exactly. So just food for thought, at least he's working on something for us, so.
That it?
I don't know anything else.
We want to talk about maybe a truck committee?
Yeah, we're gonna, we're gonna have to start looking at replacing the other ambulance. It's 10 years old. It'll have 70,000, just like the last one we did. We're running that one full-time right now to put the miles on it. So we're gonna look into that probably first of the year. The sales guys are telling us that the Ford chassis are gonna be done at the end of this year, and then they're gonna make a newer design, so doesn't mean we gotta go with Ford, but, so anyways, we'll start looking, get a committee together, and maybe mid-spring, look at a proposal, so.
Happy to look at it.
Yeah, I know the one time we talked about, because they bought 2 at once,
Right.
which means you're gonna replace them, so we were trying to hope to say,
Right.
even if this one here you have now, you could offset it 2.5 to 3 years.
Right, and that's where we'll be with it.
And then the next time you go around, you try to do another 2.5, that way you'll be every 5.
Right.
They should never buy 2 at once.
No, we should be 2.5 years span before this happens.
Which was, I think, the original goal when they started doing the billing,
Yeah.
to try to change them out every 5 years.
And so far, I mean, the other ones held up well, I mean, but it'll have 70,000 before the end of the year. And so, after that, you kind of go into the crapshoot after that. The other one's been really good, no issues at all, so.
Okay.
Officer Reese?
Yes, sir. Everything's going well. I submitted my report. I'm not sure if everyone's received it. Did I go automatically in the email?
I got 2 of them so far.
Oh,
Like the weekly report or like the
like the
stat report?
Like the stat report?
I didn't get that one.
I think
On the
it's
share.
Oh,
Oh, it's in the share folder.
I think that's hard to get
I
to.
guess maybe we haven't looked.
Okay, I can send out an email too.
In the
Yeah,
future, you want me
that
to bring copies and hand them out, or?
No.
No, as long as the thing is that share folder's tough sometimes. It wants to update, sometimes it doesn't. I'd send it by email, because everyone gets email.
Okay, I'll take care of that.
Okay. So I submitted my report. Last month, we had 436 complaints. They were due downstairs. I'll let you guys review it, and any discussion, we can bring it up next month, or next week. Just to keep everyone updated, I ordered the 3 rifles 2,500 rounds of practice ammunition, and 200 rounds of duty ammunition. We're sending one individual tomorrow for a DCJS training with the Livingston County Sheriff Department, and Brian Chapman will be attending that. I did order from Bright Computers, the computer for the new car. VSP Graphics, I ordered the graphics for the new car as well. And through the corporation, we ordered all the equipment, lighting, bio seat, everything that we're going to need to equip the car. That's been ordered as well. So the car should be up and running. Unfortunately, it's a time delay. Everyone's busy. The equipment has to come in, so they're pushing it approximately a month to a month and a half out. Just so that we're all updated on that.
Progress.
Yeah, it's just a process of, I guess, vehicles at this point. A couple issues that came up are mostly village ordinances, a couple of them. I do have an example of one. So I've taken these down a couple different times now. I've addressed it with the individual that posted it. He needs a sign permit. Obviously, he's not going to probably get one, but he has to go through the proper procedure to get that.
North
There's a problem
Elizabeth.
down on North Elizabeth Street with parking and kids being dropped off and pulling into the individuals' driveways. They don't like that. They're parking on their grass. What they're asking for is possibly, if the village okays it, to put no parking signs down along the dead-end area to eliminate that. Another issue is that was brought up, if they hop on Livingston Boulevard from like Maple through Maine onto Livingston Boulevard, circle to Livingston Boulevard, they're looking for Babcock Park. There's no sign there pointing anything. So what they're doing is they're going down and turning around at the dead-end street, not realizing that Babcock Park is, go down North Clinton, take a left, and down Whiteman Lane. So someone had just asked if possibly we could put a sign up down there. The school has contacted me regarding Main Street and the bus loop. They're asking if there's a way, and they don't know if the village could do it or if the state could. At a certain point, cars are parking right up to the bus loop, so when they exit, the buses really can't see out, and they feel that that's a safety concern, and just was wondering if we could put a sign that said no parking from here to corner. I just told him I would have to talk to Scott, and it's a state highway. I don't know if that's legal or not for us to do it, but I just told him I would address it with Scott, and he's been busy, I've been busy, so we just haven't met up.
Probably the state, we probably have to ask the state to do it.
And then the major one, the biggest complaint that's year after year, is Whiteman Lane. Individuals are parking left wheels to the curb, they're parking where it says no parking. A couple people wanted me to ticket them. I drove down there a couple days ago. I go slow enough. I'm hoping that they get the idea to move. Obviously, some do, some don't. They have not enforced it. I don't know if that's something that the village wants to enforce or not enforce. That could be discussed at a later time. But I'm just letting you know that we have had a couple complaints about it. They're concerned that a fire truck, if they're parking on both sides of the road, are not going to be able to get up to Whiteman Lane if there was a fire.
I've never seen them park on both sides. They're usually parking on the soccer field side. They might pull up to drop a kid off who's going to watch a game, but I've never seen anyone between the corner of North Clinton and the creek park on both sides. They're usually parked on the one side. And I've always said, like, if you think that's bad, go down there any night in the Babcock Park when Vince Lombardi football is going on, and you can't even get down around that corner, you still are going to be able to get up and down Whiteman Lane if there's an ambulance. I mean, there's no parking down there for whatever, and it's a jaunt parking from the parking lot of the school to get out to where the soccer fields are, and obviously, me and Scott have talked about putting some additional parking possibly down past the creek.
I think if you're gonna.
We've talked about this, I think, every year since I've been on the board,
Yep.
and we've always said, like, I believe that there should be parking alongside one side of the street. Now, maybe there should be no parking this side of the street. I don't know if there's any signs over on.
So there's signs on both sides that say no parking.
Yeah, and
I think if you're gonna enforce it, you gotta fix the side by Jeff Tracy's where it's all hollered out and it's got a mud puddle and the whole 9 yards. Because if that was fixed, people would have room to get off. But right now, it's kind of a crater in there, you know what I mean?
You're talking on the other side?
On the other side, correct?
That's what we're talking
That's
about,
Also, we
fixing it.
talked
Exactly.
about fixing.
I think if you went down through there and you removed half of those
Yeah.
things, like we talked about, getting rid of the telephone pole things and put your stones down through there, you can make some adequate parking.
The good part is you're about 2 years away from a fix.
Right, exactly, yeah. So if you just talk about it for 2 more years, we'll be good.
I was just with Deputy Volt, he has, brought it to some of the school officials and soccer coaches, so that might help, it might not.
And the soccer coaches aren't gonna care where they're parking, they're coaching a team.
Hopefully we can just get through it and move on.
It's really what we do every year, get through it.
So you told you 2 more years.
I guess at some point, in the near future, very near future, I would like to just discuss maybe hiring a part-time court security individual, to kind of just work the court security for us. Right now, the schedule is set up that we pay a full-time police officer to be in there, meaning 8-hour shift. So I think that we could kind of reduce that if we hire an individual to work court security for us. I do have an individual in mind, I just would rather not bring it up in front of everyone. If that was okay at a later, if you want me to come back in later on, I can definitely do that.
I can mention it to him.
Okay. And then the last thing that I've accomplished, I did get a quote. I talked to Ryan Dale Monday, police chief, for the computers and an update of all the equipment downstairs that we would need to have our reporting system, SJS, in the cars. I gave the quote to the mayor last week sometime. A little pricey, but he says that you can check around and it's definitely a lot cheaper than anyone else, and that's $7,300 for everything. That's updating computers, new monitors, and 2 servers for us, and all the updates that we're going to need by January 1st anyway for our SJS program. So this individual has done a lot of work. Ryan Dale highly recommends him. He was downstairs, Glenn was downstairs, maybe an hour talking. There's been an issue with one of our SJS computers that we can't get on it. He went in there for about a minute, which is actually less than a minute, and he had a new program up and running, and SJS is now working where it took 6 months for Albany to get back to us, and they were going to make an appointment. The guy seemed very knowledgeable. The only thing that he did state that is a big concern is that, I guess I would bring that up under, I don't want it out there in the public, but there is a concern that he has, and that we should probably address that sooner than later. And I can bring that up. It would take 5 minutes, but it was something that he was kind of dumbfounded, but he said that's kind of natural as well.
So make it so you do reports in the car?
Correct.
Right.
Yep. And here again, that would update the computers downstairs that are going to have to be updated anyway. They're old. Monitors, we put 2. If you ever worked with just single one, you're constantly, they're minimizing where you can slide things over, and it's just much easier to work. It's also making the officers having ID, so you know who signs in, and let's just say that we have 4 computers downstairs. If you're on computer 1 that crashes, you can always go with the system. You can always go to computer 2, and all your information is out there. So it's very easy to pull it back up. You continue where you left off, and the work's there. Now, if you have a computer that goes down, you lost it. He said absolutely nothing against Hurricane, just Hurricane isn't familiar with our SJS or our track system. So every time they do an update, we have to call Albany, and they have to try to fix it, because here again, they just don't jive together. Glenn seemed very knowledgeable, like I said. So I guess I would recommend, if there was any way, if we have the money, to at least start that process. And that would eliminate some officers in doing their reports in the office, and it would be more visible out in the streets where we should be. And then I guess the last thing that I have, as of today, for the month, it's been busy. We have 157 calls for the month. We've been kind of busy downstairs.
Any questions of Officer Reese? Thank you, good report.
I got one.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Streetlights, if somebody sees one out, one of the officers pass one at night time, somebody report that it's been out so we can fixed?
Yep, so they normally do that, but I can definitely ask them to keep an eye
A
on
few
it.
of them off the buildings where it is.
They can actually call NICEAG directly, go right on their website and put in the poll number and
There's one
they'll-
right in front of the, in fact, there's one in front of the post office is blinking on and off.
That's my problem.
that's his problem.
That is.
Yep. The NICEAG poll is, you just go on the NICEAG site.
The other night was 4:00.
I'm not just cruising around not seeing things, you know, I see things.
Or not.
We can do that. And I guess there's just one last thing, I talked to Marissa about it very quickly a couple days ago. On the website, I'm not sure if the chief's name is still on there and contact information, but if it is, maybe if we could just put the village of Dansville, the mayor, myself, whomever, the Dansville Police Department. People are stopping and saying, hey, I've been calling the chief, he's not answering, or I've been emailing the chief, he's not responding. There's not much that we can really do
Is
about
the
it.
chief's phone number dead, or is that to you now?
Nope, it's dead. Yeah,
And we have updated that
Okay,
already,
thank
after
you.
you and I spoke, it was taken care of, so.
Beautiful.
Your name and officer in charge is what we put down for now,
Okay,
with the station number.
beautiful. That'll work.
Good report.
Alrighty. I've been remiss, I did the Pledge of Allegiance, I should have asked us to recognize the day is 9/11. And so I would belatedly ask everyone to take a second or two here, a few minutes, or not a few minutes, but a few seconds here. Keep in mind what transpired on this day and 18 years ago. Okay, thank you. Budget, Finance, and Audit.
I asked earlier, she said no issues, so.
So we're looking good. We had Brian, our accountant, in today to go over. Some of you had asked for some of the reports. So I did put it up on the shared folder, but I will send emails out as well for treasurer's report. Learn how to pull that, as well as a few of the expenditures and revenue reports as well. He was mostly able to finish August, the month of August. There's just a few small bits and pieces left before he completely closes it out for me to get you final numbers. So the treasurer's report that I have up is pretty close. Probably very, very small details that will change, but I'll update that as soon as it's completed. I received a message from Livingston County, their treasurer, to be able to, the re-levy of taxes. So I did type up a resolution that we will revisit next week to approve that resolution, and then we'll be able to send it on to the Livingston County office.
This is the annual one we do every fall for the late taxes. Give it to the county and they'll hit the streets again 1st of January.
That's right.
Are you addressing the other issue in executive session with the filing and issues we were having?
Yeah, yep.
What was that? Boy, I didn't catch that.
I was asking her if she was coming back for executive session on some of the issues they've had with filing and late bill being paid
Oh,
and
okay.
things that we had
Yeah.
talked about. Concerns.
I'm not sure if he's gonna call that tonight or not, but.
Want to mention the AUD at all? At
Yes.
this point?
Yep, so that, Brian completed that. I put an ad in our official paper as is required to just announce that it was completed, and that it is available online. So on our website, the AUD is available.
Annual update document.
Right.
In other words, our annual financial report. Why they call it annual update document, I don't know. Annual report. Make more sense.
Too
but
easy.
Somebody had nothing to do, better to do that day. Okay.
They had a committee on what to call it.
Probably took a
6 years.
act of the
I said
governor.
that probably costed a lot of money to delay doing that.
They, especially come up with.
Do we have, look like any budget modifications yet?
There will be. So
Okay.
now that I've learned to pull that report today, I also located some areas, line items that need some modifications.
Okay.
So I'll prepare that for next week's meeting, create the forms for that to come before you, so.
I take it still nothing from Fried Maxic on last year's.
No, and I addressed that today with Brian as well, because I know he used to do auditing
Mhm.
in the past, and he was a little surprised that we still haven't heard back. We can always take a look down the road for if we desire to go in another direction, but we definitely need to still obtain that from them. I'd like it before they come for this year's audit.
Yeah. I want to check with them tomorrow, and on Friday, I'll call them myself.
Okay,
See if you don't have any good results tomorrow.
okay.
It's ridiculous. It's been
you.
almost a year. Public Works, streets.
See the boys been working down on
Yeah, West Liberty,
West Liberty.
I thought that was just gonna go over and fix a couple little things and mill it and pave it, but we got into the storm sewer, right in front of Donnie Hamler's, down to the corner of Lincoln, and it was, I think it's a 16-inch pipe, and it was solid. So we started investigating, told Pete try and do it the easy way. Spent 2 days, trying to clean it first, and we knocked some holes in it and went a little farther. So we're, make a long story short, it actually pitches the wrong way, like about 4 inches. I don't know, who knows, back in the day, that's old pipe. Good shape, but pitched the wrong way and full right to the top. So decided to redo that. So hopefully, probably 2 more days, we'll have that part done. And then we're gonna mill that street. And kind of the question, and maybe you guys want to look it over when you drive over, I'd like to go right from Main Street, just to do the whole street. It's not that bad from Main over to Church, but it's gonna need it in just a few years, so I don't know if you want to piecemeal it, but I'd like to throw in that parking lot too, that's right in front of Pioneer Park. That would all be updated right down through there, all the streets will be new in that area. I think we'll just maybe mill down an inch or so, don't go crazy with that section, because it's not that bad. But, so if you guys want to discuss that, and you can get a chance to drive by it or whatever. But I think we should just do it that way. Oh, it's pretty nice and new.
Are there any other areas in the village that you've observed that are in like I know I felt North Elizabeth was the worst of the worst. Now that's redone, isn't it?
Well, there's Elizabeth. I call it North Elizabeth, but Van Campen up through that section's really bad. That's nasty.
Was that, I know you were working on some, you had talked about
That's
some
drainage
drainage.
issues there too, But I was hoping, we could do Elizabeth Street and do it all at the same time. That section's probably the worst spot in the village, other than West Liberty.
But you got work to do there before you go ahead.
And they're gonna come, mill that street, West Liberty, and the parking lot on the 19th. So overnight sunrise. And then hopefully, they'll come in right after that and pave. And then we'll see how the weather and timing and everything. Chris Ramsey's not that busy with the paver this fall, so we're gonna go get back again and do some other stuff. And maybe we'll just have to hit that in North Elizabeth or lower
I just
Elizabeth.
wondered, just prioritizing, saying, before, if something's way worse, but
Yeah. It's just, again, you wanna go down and do it without doing the drainage, that's the thing. And all these streets are bad for drainage, but it just takes time, unfortunately. That's been kind of a little nightmare over there, just trying to get the pipes up through, with gas lines and this and that. Made it today, pretty good shape today, so you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that street will be nice for quite a while. And it does drain all the way to the creek, which when we checked it all the way, the pipe's good the rest of the way. So, and as far as the behind the sunrise and GVTA, the lighting we agreed to do, that's going to be about $4,500 to buy the lights and poles, another $500 for wiring and da-da-da. So you're going to have about $5,000 into that. So then with the paving, we'll have close to 50 grand in the parking lot. I need everything done, drainage, because there's no drainage in it. So,
Part of the reason why it's so rough in there. Water just sits.
yeah.
Gonna set up for those charging plants?
Well, the area where the pole is over there, I mean, I think we could do it anytime. It's for me to try to,
You ran the conduit and stuff and
yeah,
get
but
it ready.
where do I run it and, the size you need?
Yeah.
There's not enough time, I don't believe, to do it the proper way. I mean, we're pushing it now. I mean, next Thursday, they're gonna be milling that parking lot, And I got a good week and a half, probably, of getting drainage and everything else done in there.
It's too short a notice.
Yeah. But it's not, I mean, it won't be out of the question. We wouldn't really have to damage the parking lot much.
It's not too bad, no, not too bad.
It's right, the pole's right over in the corner, right where we want
Yeah.
to install it. So. Yes.
You're gonna mill
The
that.
clock's ticking.
You're gonna mill that on the 19th, huh?
Yep, next Thursday. You guys want to pull the plug on it. That's the alleyway, the whole parking lot will be redone.
Be nice.
So we're gonna actually, we're gonna get the mill, and then actually Quinn is gonna take the mill, for how long, I don't know, whatever. We're gonna do ours first, and then basically turn it over to him, and then he'll pay the rest of the day, just so there's no confusion on that, or somebody says anything. He's gonna use it to mill behind, actually, I'm gonna take and mill the blacktop off behind Sunrise and GBTA with it, so we can have the millings and things. And then he will go ahead and mill, he's gonna mill the dirt right up with it. So, just so everybody knows, so it's all out in the open.
Good, you can't work a deal with him and get both the tonnage, get the tonnage for Quinn and you.
But I can't do that, no, that's a totally different animal. He'll pave his first, and then we'll pave ours. So there's no way we can
Yeah,
pave
you
it
don't
at
want
the
to
same
be
time.
mixing the apples and oranges. The
Yeah, I can't-
commingling will get you
Yeah,
into
can't do
trouble.
that. No, he's gotta do his and we gotta do ours. But it'll, the mill's 4,500 a day, so, whatever he uses, he might pay 1,500, we might pay 3,000 for the day, that's all. Just helps us both out, it's here. And,
Striping and everything,
I'm gonna have to contract that out, I think.
did you talk about redesigning how people park in there?
Yeah, I have a couple different layouts and I can show you guys. It's pretty much gonna have to be laid out just like it is now to make it work. There's just not enough footage to get like another row in. So, and we laid it out 3 different ways and they're within 3 parking spots. But just for the flow of traffic, to have them line up like they are now, there won't be as many right behind the Sunrise lined up. They're mostly gonna be going this way, back and forth, east and west. It's not a whole lot of options there. It's just too many driveways and, gotta have access here and there, so I think there's room for 85 spots. And, now that I've been over, that's a busy parking lot. You don't realize it.
I noticed this morning it was packed in there this morning.
I know what's gonna happen when
I
I
don't know what
cone
it
it
is.
off and nobody can go in there.
It's gonna be hectic for a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that this morning, it was pretty full in there.
It'll be nice when it's done though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That'll bring
Small
really not much more you can do.
sacrifice.
You gotta shut it off if you want it nice
Yep.
again, otherwise people are gonna be tripping and falling and complaining on Facebook. That's what's going on.
No, it's a long time coming, so. I still would like to go down and do that little parking area that you guys were just talking about earlier. If I can pull it off, we'll see. I got a lot of things to do this fall and falls.
Oh, the one down in Babcock?
And that, even if we just got millings in there for this year,
Yeah, I think that would be a big help.
And then, I don't know, we're gonna have to probably look at that bridge right there too. That's
It's pretty narrow. That's narrow in there anyways.
Yeah, I noticed that the other day.
It's falling apart on both sides.
Is that even the right size culvert through there?
when the water gets there, we don't really care to it if it goes over. I mean, it's out of the village, so.
Well, still,
It goes out in the fields and the way it goes.
no, that's still the village.
No, but what I'm saying is if it does flood in that area,
Mhm.
and I don't ever remember that bridge ever going over.
Well, cause it'll back up, there's a little bit of a swale right there, right
Backs
across
up in
from
the
your,
park and then goes
from
around.
Jeff's, and it kinda backs up, and I've never seen it go over there
I
though.
haven't even.
I mean, but it's usually cleaned out, and that's really when we have the problems, is when you get a lot of stuff in there, and
But no, Pete, it's not the right size, no, absolutely not.
if you ever replace it.
Right, you'd have to upside it. But
That's
again,
pretty narrow.
At least widen it enough through there so people can drive without being channeled.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's dangerous, especially kids crossing.
yeah.
Well, it'd be nice if make it, like you say, make it a little wider, put a little sidewalk area on both sides, so you don't have to walk in the road, you can actually just walk. Like what we.
Oh, like the one on Moore Ave.
Yeah, the sidewalk to nowhere.
You can't believe it.
Yeah. Can't believe the kids are in the road.
We gotta do that sidewalk.
Everybody out there. Pete.
Pete started that one. That's supposed to be saying that.
I drive by.
Yeah, I like to stir the mud once in a while. Anything else on streets?
We has no big stack of paperwork, so at this point, we're in pretty good shape.
You wanna mention, out there on Upper Liberty, what we looked at yesterday, or
Yeah, it's just minor, but-
just that one house up there that has a little bit of drainage issue again?
Kinda like in front of Zay's house.
Yeah.
Same spot.
that.
Just needs a couple catch
Please,
basins.
waterfront traffic.
Hey, how's that work out in front of the Methodist church? Is that water run pretty good down through there now?
Oh, it's always running pretty good, it's just where it was going to, it's not
Well,
really
no, it used to
good.
flood right in front of the church.
Well, but it was running.
You're walking.
Yeah, that's good down through there, all the streets look good.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
And you get that one fixed where you're doing the water down there now, that's gonna make a nice area, cause that
Time to
church
get
street
it all
looks
done, I'll have to
great.
do Washington Street again.
That's your area, you can't have more black ground.
Yeah. If you're on the board, you don't get any treatment.
you'd think he'd know that.
Speaking of which, down there on Franklin
Randy
Street, there's
put
some
all that
spots
in over
that-
there, that was the first street we done in town.
If any street gets done, it's gonna be mine first.
Well, I know my game would know, because the state isn't doing anything.
Right,
Look at the potholes
You're
on
probably
it.
the worst shape of any of
Oh,
us.
my Lord.
I still haven't heard from them, even though they said it August, September.
Well, I see they're doing some
Road that goes over.
spot patching all the way up over Whalen Hill. That is
I can't
horrendous.
even imagine what they even did that for.
It looks beautiful from Whalen to North Cohocton. It looks beautiful. But between Dansville and Whalen, whew,
Well, they did the tracks, but they left the center, and the center's just as bad as the tracks.
Yeah.
That's a mess. I can't believe that.
That's just a waste of money is all that was.
because as soon as one, you get a little water under, it's gonna buckle as soon as it freezes.
Water and sewer. Trustee Nagel.
Still flowing.
Still flowing downhill. Scott?
Actually, it's, not flowing in as fast as we want now.
Shut some of it off.
Yeah, we did.
What happened?
Well, the flow was way down.
They fixed some
Isn't
of
that
it.
good?
Lower than,
Yeah, that's
it is. It's just, now they have to recalculate down there because the flows aren't the same. He was actually trying to do that this morning. It's just, it's a process that they have to do.
Cause
It's amazing when you got that water out of the,
Clay Street.
I was telling him that you go over the corner of Prine and Clay and that thing is running like you wouldn't believe. And that stuff that finally got into where it was supposed to be, it's,
That really shut a lot of water off, huh?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, it's over, deep in there. It runs pretty good.
But it turned, there was a lot of it going in there, wasn't it?
Well, it was all going in the sewer before.
Yeah,
We plugged that off, sealed that up, so.
cool.
I still have to get over there this fall to do, there's a water line over in front of like Marla Henry's apartment that's sticking out of the ground. So the old 4-inch still goes all the way up to the corner, nobody's on it, but there's that whole section that's an old 4-inch. And I don't want to leave it there over the winter, I want to get it capped down the street, because that'll be my luck, it'll blow this winter underneath my brand new road. And then like say hopefully next spring, we just go over and finish that. Finish it, put the water line in, curb it, and get out of there. And that whole street will be complete, finished. And then the other concern that we've had is up on the, actually Crestwood Circle and Greenmount. The new 16-inch line runs down through that they put in years ago.
Well, we done exit 4.
Right. So we need to tie into that for like Crestwood. Like right now, they have like zero pressure up there. If there was a fire up there, it wouldn't be good. It's been that way for a long time. So the entrance to Crestwood is bad shape. And as you go down in the road, I was hoping to mill and fill that this fall. And we're talking about it today that we should probably go up and then tie at least Crestwood in. Would that be right in your entrance up front? So get that taken care of. Go ahead and just do that little area. And then next year tie in Greenmount, which would then, the houses that like Jimmy Day, all the houses actually from the corner down through to the pond, they need to get transferred over to that line, then we can get rid of that old 6-inch line that goes down through there, it's not in good shape. So,
If that ever blows, there's gonna be a big problem.
yeah, that goes under the creek. It's just,
Now, is that something that could be done with this program we're setting up for the areas that we want to rebuild the lines?
well, I don't think we can
MBI.
really wait till that happens. It's not, that's not like a huge job. It's something we can do ourselves pretty easy. We just have to get somebody to come in and tap that.
Plus, the
system.
line's laid, you just need to tie it.
Yeah, they're just right there. You just dig it
So
up,
what,
tie it together.
the other thing is laying new lines and new mains around
Oh,
the
yeah.
village. So the line's there, it's
These
just
lines
they're
are already
tightened to.
there, yeah.
Just tying it into the, right now it goes over onto the south side of Gibson, Crestwood, that's where it ties in. So now it'll just tie right in, because the 16 inches on the north side of the street.
They do that in the wintertime when there's not much snow and stuff, huh?
Yeah, we don't want to wait for winter time, because we've got to patch the road and fix that up. So, plenty to do this fall. How much we'll get done, who knows?
Is NICEAG on hold with all their projects? 'Cause they're not doing.
No, they, actually, their stakeout ran out. I think they're gonna start that Monday over here on Elizabeth Street, boring that in. That's something I wanna talk about for, hammering this year, but for next year, I think, I don't know if I have to, the board has to pass something. I mean, it's in our specs, I guess, but I just don't like the way they patch the roads back up, so.
I agree.
I think I'm gonna demand that everything they dig, like we do, everything we dig, we take out, because you just can't put that stuff back and tamp it in properly. Most of it's garbage, and that's what they should be doing.
And I don't think they've done a great job on it.
I know Mont Morris now is demanding that. I'm gonna talk to Chris and see how he's making out.
Are we keeping track of
Yep.
their
Yep.
openings? What about we had the mishap or something over with,
Farrell?
yes, is
Yeah,
that?
I just went through all the bills today. I just got all the bills in on that, and I'll bill him for that. Yeah, for what he collected, he's probably gonna have a bill 4 times the size of what he collected to do the job, but hey, that's their deal. I ended up patching it myself, and I'm just gonna bill him for that, because
The patch is nice.
I didn't wanna have a nasty patch, because he said he was gonna do it himself, and I said, no,
Brand new street.
do that.
How's, well, squared away with the Tim Perry situation?
I guess, I don't know. Did you send him a letter, Pete?
I sent him an email, as that was the only thing I had, so
I haven't heard anything.
all I got back was, thank you.
That's all we need to worry about.
Just go over some of the back reports that he had.
I have Diane's email, so that's who I contacted.
And then in the water side, I'd like to, last week, Nick had some family issues with his mom, she passed away, and Matt had a vacation plan. So we actually got Dave up there last week and trained him enough so he could at least do the trips on the weekends. So I guess at this point, we probably should make Dave a trainee and get him trained to run the plant so we don't get into that situation. Now that Bob's retired, we had 4 guys, we're down to basically 3 guys, and only 2 that can run the plant. We had 3 before. I put it off and put it off. It was time. We posted a job. He has actually taken the test. He's 3rd on the list, so he wouldn't have to take another test.
Mhm.
So that part would be good.
Do we have to post it though?
Oh, yeah.
Did you say that? I don't know if you said that.
Well, I mean, it's just, you guys have to authorize it. And then I would actually like to see, Woody got his CDL. Woody's making $18.91 now. I shouldn't say Woody because of the position, but let's face the fact, it's be Woody, he's the only one in the sewer. And make him an MEO, it's $21.65 an hour. I've run into it here the last month with Woody, you can't do this, you can't do that. And now that he's got his CDL, I mean, it's just, it's nice to, when the guys are all out, they can all do everything. The other day it was just Woody and I working on a project, and he had to chauffeur me around to get the stuff over there. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous, because he can't drive anything.
And if you don't, you get grievances, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't actually know if I would get that right now from the guys, but there was some things mentioned a little bit about driving the truck.
Well, if he's certified, he's certified. I mean,
Right, but he can't drive the truck until he's an MEO.
Right, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, he's legal now. Right. So, that's up to you guys, if you wanna just put that off till Tuesday, that's fine, whatever.
It's just an in-house
Yeah.
move?
Yes.
Again, you have to post for
We have to
everything.
post it. Both of them will have to post, but
Right.
it's irrelevant, nobody's gonna.
There's like a
Already on the
30-day
host.
posting or something?
Pardon?
30 days?
We have to notify the union, I think we have to give them 10 days, and it has to be posted for 15.
None of them are gonna put in for it because they're already MEOs.
Right. And Chris is already an MEO or doesn't need to be?
Chris is a trainee, and so he's good. Yep. And he had a little baby.
Yep, and baby boy.
Uh,
So there again, we're down to one guy down there for a week and a half or however long, he's gonna take some vacation, which is understandable. I think he's only gonna take a week off, which is good.
well, it
So hopefully Randy will,
should be able to get the family leave.
well, he could if he wants, but he's not gonna go for that.
He's just gonna take regular leave.
He's just gonna take his vacation time.
Yeah, the family leave, you still burn your own time. It's just you can't deny him the time if
That's
he
right,
takes it.
yeah.
But he's not, definitely not taking advantage of it. I think they can take, what, 6 months off or something?
Oh, you can take,
12
Way long
weeks,
time.
12 weeks or
12
something.
weeks, is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all I have.
Let's see. Just so you're aware, Scott, I did give that information to Dennis about the parking lot out here.
Oh, speaking of
He's
that-
given it to his board, they haven't made any decisions yet. So until they do,
Yeah, well,
and we still need to get
Well, they gotta sign
Fritz
too.
and Jim to sign off on it too.
well, until they decide what they're gonna do, I guess we'll have to
Yeah.
hurry up and wait.
Just on that note, we were talking about parking lot truck here, is there anything that we're gonna need to do to the parking lot out back if they plan on having the carnival up here next year? Is there anything that needs to be done out there, like that we should be looking at I mean, cause I was out there, I'm like, there's dumpsters and stuff in the middle of the parking lot, and I was like, are those municipality, they're not our dumpsters, one of them I think might be.
The one dumpster closest to the building belongs to the town, and the other two out there belong to, I think one belongs to Grand Manor Suites. and The other one belongs
Should they really be in our parking lot?
Well, they are in our, well,
I think they are now, they weren't.
Yeah, they weren't.
You know, I mean, they should be on their property, not in a parking spot. And even the towns, I mean, town has town barns and all that, I mean, the village uses more space in this area than the town does, and we have ours not in our parking lot right out back, I mean.
We use the towns.
Oh, we use the towns, well, I
Yep.
guess that just solves it. Well, leave it there as long as we're not paying for it.
We can probably fix it up once we decide to do something with the lot
I
itself.
mean, if they do something with a lot, they can put in like a enclosure, you know, some fence up or something to kind of enclose it. It kind of just looks horrible. You drive out there and at least they moved the old police car. But, I mean, I was like, man, it's just like dumpster central, and it's supposed to be a parking lot.
Yeah, everybody in the building here uses it. So that's part of the agreement.
But I agree with Dan, making a specific spot for the dumpsters and fencing it.
Well, just because next year it's gonna be right in the middle of the midway.
Yeah, because there's a section over there where the old barn was, the old laundromat, that's ours. But when you go forward up towards Main Street, that's private. And where the lines are, that's what I've been wanting to get marked
The
off.
rest of them need to be on their own property or whatever.
Not in the parking spots.
Yep.
So if we decide we're gonna have that.
Well, I think even for snow removal, it'd be probably better if you're not out plowing
Yeah.
around their dumpsters. Put their dumpsters on their property, and then that way when Scott and the boys are out there, they can just push the snow out of the way and move on with their day.
And they have that grease dumpster out there too, which is nasty.
Yeah, put it on your property.
From who?
Cafe Taza,
Cafe Tyler?
coffee cup
I
and
don't know,
sugar bowl.
The hotel.
you wanna get with, Tammy, and maybe you guys can look at that or something?
Well, you should take a look at the map,
Yeah, I
first of
know
all.
exactly where that is.
Yeah. Did Bruce put any pegs out there at all? See, that's the problem, knowing exactly
We
where
probably
the
got them
lines
set
are.
up somewhere where the trucks can get at them, you know, that's the deal, but that's their problem.
That's their deal.
Yeah.
That's why they are out where they're at.
Yeah, so, I don't know what to do next.
Not our, I mean, it
Somebody
just
else-
looks horrible in the middle of our.
Well, they're not in our area, at least they weren't.
Yeah, if they're not, then they're
Yeah.
not. 'Cause I looked at that, and I know that there's a
You're right down
laneway that
through
goes in
there,
front.
right? Where's your store?
Oh, yeah.
No, theirs
It's at
isn't.
the other end of it, but it's still the whole parking lot there, it's, nobody knows where to park. And the dumpsters, I think, throw off the lines to where you can
Mhm.
drive versus where you can park, so
Yeah,
that
sure.
whole section in the middle, it gets really
Yeah,
messy,
I
especially
forgot
on
you're
bigger
right in
night.
there.
Well, isn't there a village ordinance that they have to be fenced in?
That was, removed. Mhm.
It was.
Yeah.
Should be, is that grease one should be on concrete.
Should be on the part of it.
Oh, that's right. That's what I'm saying, it should be in.
I don't know, maybe we'll take a look at that.
After the deal with that kid in the city, I thought maybe they had to be protected pretty well.
Well, those were in ground ones.
Yeah, that was an in-ground one.
Yeah.
Well, still. Using that for an excuse.
But I mean, I don't know, if it wouldn't be too much to have that guy come in and do the stakes so we know where everything is out there and say,
At least exit with some colored paints and let us know so we can go out there and say, hey, move it. If it's on our property. And then we should, probably stripe everything so people know what is roadway and what's parking.
It gets used quite a lot out there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was hoping we could actually overlay that, pave that, you know, we got this done out here, but. won't be this year.
no, I just bring it up just because you're gonna be here and
Sure,
anything that's
yeah.
gonna be needed to be done.
No, there's a
in
little
spring.
drainage work that needs to happen, but other than that, it just needs to be paved. It wouldn't be a big deal to pave that. You know, it's one day that'd be.
Clean it up.
Paved up and look good.
Definitely make it a lot better or something
The
else.
poles look kinda ratty out there, the lighting poles.
Well, we replace them when we replace
The wood ones that, you know, the overhead wires.
telephone ones, yeah.
But it's nice to keep it as open as we can for plowing.
Yeah, especially because there's actually a roadway that comes up and around by Napa and over and around. There's a true roadway there that you used to know was there when the old laundromat was there. And now that's really how you drive. I don't know if eventually sometime you stripe it to show, hey, this is a roadway, because I think people just kind of park wherever now.
Well, actually, part of that roadway goes on to Napa's part of the land,
Yeah,
because it's, never been fully delineated. Like you say, everything's sort of shifted after that barn burnt
Let's
down.
get a map, find out what we got.
that was nice for everything.
That was a good fun.
Mhm.
I was there.
Okay, anything else, Scott?
That was cool.
Mike? You got anything more?
No.
Okay, well, I'll just mention a few things. Where are we on the playground equipment and stuff? Any more progress on that?
We did get a layout, a schematic that Scott had sent me. And then he sent you something so you could do the square footage and figure out like what you were gonna need for blocks.
Well, you got what I got.
Yep.
Like,
Was there measurements? Cause I didn't see any measurements, so to say you're gonna need X number. It just was a picture like you put.
Right. It was just a
together.
picture. Yeah, I mean, I don't, until you guys really decide on what we're gonna purchase, for sure. Unless you're gonna go with what he sent you for a layout.
What was
I
that?
think he was kinda waiting to see.
What was that price on that? Was that 27?
27, I think, yeah. I mean, if you wanna go with something like that, then now I can say.
I definitely don't want to go anything bigger. I
Right,
mean,
get
that,
the
like, to
measurement.
me is by far big enough, and like I said, I was just trying to say simple. Some swings, some slides, a little thing to climb on, and everything was kind of metal, so it's not like that stuff is gonna, you know, it's not like it was a plastic that the sun was gonna, you know, wreck over 20 years, you know? I mean, look at the other ones, you get out into Washington Park, that one set of swings has been there since I was a kid.
Didn't,
Still working good.
didn't we decide to go ahead with that at the last?
We didn't vote on it, we said
didn't
we'd
vote on it,
wait.
We tabled it to this month.
Oh,
I do think we need to get at it.
yeah.
He said he was gonna give some dimensions on what you're gonna need per state regulations, because based on the swing, you gotta go like 16 feet one way and 16 feet the other, so you're talking like a 32-foot swath just to put the swings in, that's,
In case kids decide to do what we used to do, and that was to get the thing going, and then you jump out of the seat, see how far you can,
slot fly.
like a catapult.
So I guess, I don't know, yeah, I mean, if that's the direction we're gonna go, is what we had, then that would give us the idea of the dimensions. And we could at least then start seeing what we're gonna need for the footprint.
I can contact him if you wanna go that route.
See why not?
I mean, it was, what we actually looked at that was 27,000 was very basic. I mean, you don't get much anymore for that price when it comes to playground equipment. Everything else he was looking at that were huge, they were well over like $100,000. So we were looking, you know, something to allow people to swing. There was like one system with some slides, one system of slides with, I had like 3-4 slides on it. And then there was this round thing that the kids can climb all over, you know, or like a dome.
You had a handicap slide in there too.
And there was a there was no handicap slide, but there's a handicap
Or swing, I
swing.
mean, yeah.
And then there's a toddler swing, cause there was, I think there'd be a total of like 8 swings, but one was gonna be a toddler swing, one was gonna be for a handicap swing, and the other 6 were gonna be normal swings. I guess I shouldn't say normal swings, irregular, I wanna make sure I say it right.
So we're gonna wait and get some dimensions or what before we vote on this? Or-
Just to get the cost through the.
Cause once you wanna put a footprint in, and
Yeah,
then it's
sure.
gotta be filled with this special rubberized stuff. And that's not as bad after talking to that guy, that's not as horrible, but you're probably looking at probably $5,000 or better.
That was less than that.
Was it?
A couple grand, was it? Pretty
Yeah.
cheap, I thought.
Still need to have a fairly close idea what we're gonna spend before we
Oh, yeah.
say spend it.
Yeah.
So
We know
can get
it's
that before
27,000 was what
Wednesday.
and I've got the booklet here. It was 27,000 for the, was the playground equipment, and then it was gonna be whatever the rubberized stuff, and the blocks, we we're gonna put, you know, like a nice, that way it's easy just to run around and,
Guess what, 30 to 35 altogether maybe?
I'd say no more than like 35, what do you think? I don't know how those 10 blocks would be.
Well, you gotta see the size first, and I can figure it out.
Figure it out, we'll just make a motion on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Who what, Floyd?
Figure it out, we can make a motion Wednesday, right?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Okay, that's some outside line around.
Today's Wednesday.
A little behind.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, we're gonna,
Hey Pete, the only other thing, Denny, that deal down by my shop with the property, he was
Yeah.
gonna call me, just said he can't. I don't know, do you guys have an executive session for anything tonight?
Oh, yeah.
I could
oh, we're
throw him on
done.
speakerphone, and we could negotiate this in executive session real quick and either end it or do it. I'd like to, you know, get it if we can, if we can, we can.
Are we still talking leasing or buying?
They don't, so. Up to you guys, want to do it, fine, not. Fine, anything.
Okay, everybody think about it for a few more minutes. Okay, holiday lighting, I got a hold of Kurt Lorman on that. There's some issues there.
Oh, boy.
Well, his personal life has been turned upside down, so.
Wondered about that.
So that may have a bearing on where he goes. I'll get some information to you between now and next week. And let's see, the Nitros have been given permission from the league to go ahead next year.
Play well,
Play ball.
get a tree out of there.
That's the big news, and then from there, we just gotta probably do a few things initially, and I recommended, since those, that toilet area over there by the Fireman's Pavilion is unusable, we go with the, at least 1 year with the, Porta-Johns.
I called her too, they've got like 7 different grades of those.
Mhm.
They have some pretty nice ones now.
Oh, I've been at somebody at a wedding, and I was like, holy crow, they're nice.
Yeah. But whether, you know, we want to foot the bill to that or not, but there are options for that.
Yeah.
What was that for?
Porta potties, Porta-Johns.
Oh,
Okay, what else we got here? Yeah, just some things I'll talk with you about. And under technology, I've got nothing, other than these things which I already talked
We're gonna
about.
talk about those.
So now we can decide if we wanna go into, executive session, Norm?
Make a motion to go on executive session.
Okay.
Not gonna community comments or anything first?
Oh,
Pardon?
Gonna do community comments or anything like that?
Well, we don't normally do it tonight.
Okay, never mind then.
However, we got a couple of issues we'll go into. Number one's to talk about this negotiations on some property. The other is discuss the employment history of a particular individual. And another one is, I guess, security related, also a employment issue. So I guess what we could do is have
Thanks for coming.
Officer Grease stay,
Okay, Skip.
and Scott can stay,
Yep.
and Marissa can stay.
When you go up Vista Hill, walk over to the pond, the red bucket has food in it for the fish.
Thank you.